Defensive Player of the Year award was given to Rudy Gobert. He wins his 4th Defensive Player of the Year award. He is in now elite company. Dikembe Mutombo, all right, finger wag, has 4 Defensive Player of the Year awards, and so does Ben Wallace back in the day for Detroit. He's got 4 of those as well. So basically, it's a stretch. Dikembe's stretch was basically from 94. He won 94, 95, 96, 97, 97, 98, and then 2000, 2001. So that's a pretty long stretch. I mean, of him being an elite defensive player. Ben Wallace was basically – Ben Wallace picks it up right there, which is crazy. He picks it up right at 01, right when Dikembe Mutombo won his last one. Then Ben Wallace goes 01, 02, 02, 03, 04, 05, 05, 06. Right there. And then there's a gap between he and Rudy Gobert. But Rudy Gobert since 2017, 17, 18, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 23, 24. And if you listen to any Spurs fans out there or yours truly, you'll believe that Rudy Gobert's time is now up. And it's about to be another young buck in Wemby who's about to start winning himself multiple Defensive Player of the Year awards. So who's the best of that group there out of these? Because these are kind of the stalwarts of defense in the NBA to be able to win 4 of those. Who's the better defender out of those 3 guys?
I mean, they all kind of had their times, but that's the thing is all of them are guys that are very much set up in the don't pass them the ball, but they're really good defenders.
That's all I got to focus on. Just let me focus on defense. That's it.
No, and that's kind of it. I think that when you get guys that win it 4 times, it's because it's their focus. And I think the Rudy Gobert part of it is he got a ton of credit for how good Minnesota's defense was. And we saw yesterday that's not, or 2 days ago, that's not necessarily all on him. So, well, I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to win it. I am saying he did not deserve to win in this landslide that he did. He did not deserve to get 72 of the first place votes.
I agree with you.
He just did.
I was shocked.
But this is because people don't watch the games and they see the stats and they see that he has put up. You see the defensive stats for Minnesota and you say he's the defensive piece in it. But the reality is they have really, really good perimeter defense that leads to him. And if we're just talking about shot blocking and we're talking about steals and we're talking about defensive stats, Wemby had better. And I guess
he had better supporting cast. His defense supporting cast is great too. As you just
exactly. And so that's the point. So I'm fine with him winning it. I didn't like that he won it by this much because it just tells you how many people were not that voted on it because, well, they're the best team with the best defender and that's the vote and just voted in that sense. Because he's a good defender, but it's I think Mutombo probably won at least one of those that way. Ben Wallace when Detroit, he won one that was because it was a defensive based team, and he was the face of it, and so it's kind of a team award for guys that win that because the team just plays really good defense and they're the center of it, and that's fine. But I was a little annoyed at how many people decided that Wembanyama did not get a vote because he was on a bad team or did not get a vote because he's also a good offensive player and all those pieces of why you decide or because he's a rookie or because any other reason that you want to make say that he should
win Rookie of the Year.
He shouldn't get this too. And so it's fine. That's sour grapes because I'm a homer. But at the end of the day, it just if you want to say the 4-time defensive player of the year, it's funny because you enter into an elite category of guys that are really, really good defensive players, but they're all it's a weird group to be in.
They're one-dimensional players, right? Only on one end of the floor. But I'm with you because if Wemby, because I think Wemby could win it 4 times. I really do. I believe he can win it more than that, honestly, because consider how young he is and they're already so good. He would be the exception because he would be a guy, a 2-way player. But
that's the thing is, normally
maybe that's why he won't win it.
Yeah, because like Tim Duncan didn't win it. Akeem Olajuwon probably could have won 4. And you talk about some of those guys that are just so talented and so good, but because they're so good at everything, it doesn't stand out that they're really good at defense because they're not a defensive guy. And so Rudy Gobert's fault, but Rudy Gobert, I mean, that's his career. So, I mean, for him, that's awesome. That's brand. Exactly.
Yeah, that's his identity. But I'll give you a little stat here. Post All-Star break, Wemby had more blocks than Rudy Gobert and Brook Lopez combined.
Yeah.
And I've heard you say this too. a lot of people watched him early because that was obviously the buzz. Wemby, you got to watch him play. Got to watch him play. So they may have watched him early, and he was a little bit. I don't know. You can kind of say. I don't know if I just think he was inexperienced early.
Yeah, he was
in
finding
terms of the NBA
himself.
speed. Yes, the physicality of the game, that kind of stuff. So there are times where he did look lost defensively early on, but once he figured out, exactly how the Spurs wanted to utilize him as a defensive weapon. I mean, he was great. He altered basically. If you look at forced misses around the basket, he forced 110 misses around the basket after the All-Star break. That was the most in the NBA by a long stretch, according to Second Spectrum data. So he became a better defender as he became a more experienced player. He's a prodigy, so he's on an accelerated rate of development. But yeah, I mean, he's gonna win at least one. But you're right, he probably won't win four because of him being a guy that will have to provide on both ends of the floor. But man, I thought he made more spectacular defensive plays than Rudy Gobert. And he did things on defense that I've never seen before in terms of the NBA.
No, and that's it. It's I don't really have a problem with Rudy Gobert winning it.
No, I don't either.
It was more when I saw the vote that was more upsetting than
the
Rudy Gobert.
Yeah,
when Rudy Gobert won, I was like, he stole it, and I was kind of joking. Then I saw the lopsided. I was like, okay, guys, all right,
ran away with it.
I want names. I want names of who voted because I want to see how many of you I have not watched a Spurs game all season or watched a Spurs game early on and decided, well, I'm not going to watch them, or how many of them are people that are on the side of media that are so upset that the Spurs did not blow up everything they have, give away every draft pick they ever had to get Dame Lillard and two other aging stars so Wembanyama could be a play-in player in his rookie season. I get it, but I was upset that I want to see names. I really want to see names of people who thought that he was. Names. I want to see who thought that he was not even a second, because there's people that he did not give him a first or second place vote.
That's crazy.
And you're like, if you're really going to put him third, I think there's some people that you see on here that only voted for perimeter defenders that have some other ulterior motive. Whoever gave Drew Holiday the first place vote. I get Drew Holiday's good, but you're trying to make your own statement. And
yeah, exactly. No, I'm with you on that. I don't know how you couldn't have Wemby at least in the top two, considering just the stats alone. I mean,
and what's funny is I get the perimeter defenders thing. I get that, but one of the reasons why Rudy Gobert and Victor Wembanyama are so good is because of their footwork, and they guard bigs on the perimeter now.
Oh man, well, I've seen Wemby guard wings on the perimeter.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying.
Threes.
And so Rudy Gobert can do that pretty well too. And so I'm like, that's why those guys are elite, is because they can come out now and guard out on the perimeter as well. And so I just said, I don't want to see names. I want names.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. I thought Patrick would feel a certain kind of way about Rudy Gobert winning it by kind of a landslide. Essentially, it's like, so even my soapbox I was on all season meant nothing at all, because basically most of the NBA, they had already made up their mind Rudy Gobert is going to win Defensive Player of the Year. So, but there you go. Good conversation. And I think Wemby going forward, though, he'll win a couple of those at least. Don't know if he'll get to four, but he'll definitely win a couple. His